Deep inside the last remaining pockets of untouched wilderness, a fascinating idea survives. It is the belief that ancient entities exist just beyond our sight, beings completely unbothered by the passage of time. The ancient Indian epic, the Ramayana, defines such a being as a Chiranjeevi. This status describes an entity granted eternal life, destined to outlast epochs and witness the rise and fall of entire civilizations. The most prominent of these figures is Hanuman. Hindu tradition presents his immortality as a literal, physical reality, a tangible figure walking the earth and observing humanity across every era. This animated diagram illustrates our modern dilemma. Global mapping systems now scan every inch of the planet, creating an era of total geographic certainty that leaves no shadow unmonitored. If an immortal entity currently walks the Earth in a biological form, they would have to evade a world where high-resolution cameras and sensors have mapped every valley and peak. To sustain the belief in a living, eternal being, we have to look away from the illuminated world and focus on the final, diminishing blind spots on the map. One of those isolated blind spots lies deep within the southern hills of India, the home of the secluded Matan tribe. The Matan people make an astonishing claim. They believe Hanuman physically visits their community on a rigid, recurring schedule. These visits serve a specific purpose. He reportedly arrives to impart Brahmagyan, supreme moral and universal knowledge, to the newest generation, grounding the tribe's spiritual understanding in direct experience. Evidence of these encounters is found in the tribe's ancient logbook. The pages are filled with dense script and illustrations, detailing each visit, though the language remains entirely undeciphered by modern linguists. This timeline illustrates the tribe's mathematical cycle. With the last recorded encounter in 2014, the next arrival is precisely 2055. Because their records remain untranslatable, a massive data gap exists. The 2055 date remains a tantalizing modern mystery, waiting beyond current research. Assigning a precise 41-year schedule to an ancient figure effectively classifies the myth as a biological phenomenon, a living entity with a predictable pattern, hidden within the jungle. The human urge to find these survivors leads us to the absolute extremes of isolation, such as North Sentinel Island in the Bay of Bengal. As seen from the water, the dense tree line creates a total barrier. Modern science and government jurisdictions stop at the shore, leaving the interior as a space where ancient life remains completely unobserved. Because these zones are uncontacted, we naturally project our surviving myths into them. We use these silent places to house the legends that can no longer survive in our mapped cities. North Sentinel Island and similar blind spots act as physical sanctuaries for the unexplained. They provide a logical space where the modern mind can still allow for the existence of ancient magic. Despite these tribal accounts and viral theories, science offers a different reality. There is currently zero empirical proof of a physical immortal living in these isolated regions. From the high jungles to the frozen peaks of the Himalayas, every expedition has returned without biological evidence. The maps remain empty of any literal immortal body. The persistent lack of physical evidence suggests that our modern tools, satellites, sensors, and biological maps, are looking for. If the entity exists, it clearly operates outside the reach of the laboratory. This shifts the definition of Hanuman's immortality away from a biological body or a specific jungle hideout. Hindu philosophy describes his existence as a state of pure spiritual consciousness. This is a boundless energy that remains completely untethered to geography or the constraints of time. Searching for a survivor on a map treats a universal consciousness as it were a mere biological anomaly, ignoring the metaphysical scale of the original tradition. The true location of this entity is found wherever people gather in prayer and devotion. His immortality is sustained by the living breath of belief rather than physical survival in a jungle. We continue to tell stories of the Matan tribe and uncontacted islands because we require those geographic mysteries. They offer the modern world a necessary space where the concept of the divine remains possible. Ultimately, immortality exists as a profound truth within the stillness of human belief, something to be experienced rather than measured.